Okay, I'm making this video to basically go over King to debunk the myth of King Mansa Musa. And what the myth is that King Mansa Musa lost his wealth. You know, people try to compare King Mansa Musa to African Americans of today, or African Americans uh, of the '90s. You know, when they get money and just blow it. And you have to understand that King Mansa Musa wasn't from that same stock. He was never no slave, and his heritage and his ancestors weren't slaves and didn't come up through poverty and things like that. King Mansa Musa, his family were the Mandinka, and uh, they developed the first kingdoms in the Mauritania area. I don't know how you pronounce it. Uh, the Her Teshit, and then the Ghana Empire, and then they created the Mali Kingdom. So he come from royalty, so it wasn't no really need for that. But so you're talking about a black person who's they um, you know don't get credit for what they created. You know, they start off as pastoralists, but I mean, it was set up. I don't know, set up as a kingdom, but you have to understand that the people who were out there in the Mauritania area, they had chiefs and kings. So that's my argument. Whether it was a kingdom or not, or whether it was a civilization or not, is they had a chief or a king that they answered to, and they had it built up stone structure environment. It had some type of structure to where they were functioning or operating, and I say that should be looked into more as being, if not the first civilization, not just in West Africa, but the first civilization in the world. And if not the first civilization, whatever they consider it is, it needs to be considered, and it needs to be brought to the attention of the people. Just act like West Africans didn't do anything till the 14th century, and that's not true at all. They were out there building and were rich, were wealthy, the most wealthiest on the planet. We're not talking about just wealth, we're talking about the most wealthiest on the planet. They started salt production shortly after that, maybe I don't, let's see, so well, it was a couple of thousand years, maybe, I don't know, 3,000 years after that or whatever. They started the salt production. So you talking about these people were wealthy beyond imagine, and it's just you just slightly graze over this achievement, this accomplishment. So um, they created the Great Ghana, and then they created the Mali Kingdom. Now let's go back to King Mansa Musa. Okay, so King Mansa Musa, um, he was rich. He had two salt mines in in Mali, and the salt mines are still there today. Okay, in northern Mali region. Okay, um, he made his wealth by producing salt and trading salt for gold. So he wasn't in the gold manufacturing business. He wasn't into selling gold. So he practiced group economics, and what I mean by that is Africans traded with Africans and then traded outside of the continent. So they made each other wealthy, and then they traded outside the continent. So it was money circulating in Africa more than any other place on the planet until slavery and colonization occurred. So Africans were the wealthiest because you're sitting on all the resources in Africa. So which today they still should be the wealthiest because they're still sitting on all the resources that. But today you're sitting on all the resources, but other countries are shipping those resources to themselves, and so it kind of just reversed it. So yeah, we need to get back to that. But that's when Africans were at their height when they practiced group economics. Now you could look at African Americans. We don't have to beg people to practice group economics. That's why um, that's why this video. I don't know if I'm going to title it "What Happened to King's." Uh, Mansa Musa's wealth, or I'm gonna title it King Musa's wealth in group economics. That's what I might title this video, because that's what needs to be out there and said for people to understand that he practiced group economics, and that's where all his wealth comes from, and that's when black people were at their height, and we can't get anybody to do that anymore. But with information like this and the King Mansa Musa movie coming out, if we can push the group economics and you know how black people got the most wealth that they got, then I think we would be better off at the end of the day. So King Mansa Musa, he traded salt for gold, and he traveled to and made a trip to Egypt, and I thought, and he had a caravan with him carrying nothing but gold, and it said that every kingdom or country that he traveled through, he caused inflation. Okay, that could have happened, but that wasn't the cause of him to lose his wealth. And there's no record of him ever losing any wealth. I mean, he lost a little bit of money he gave out, but like I said, he wasn't in the business of selling gold. So as soon as he returned back home, he would produce more salt and trade, and would get that gold back. And the countries who he gave the gold to, they would trade for salt, and they would be returning that gold to him. So he would be making the money, the stuff that he just gave out, he would be making back. So yeah, that's a story that sounds good, but uh, that's not what happened. Okay, so then what? So he was wealthy till he died. Well, what happened was when he died, they kind of fought over who should take the throne, and then they were invaded by the outlying tribes, the Berber tribes. And from the looks of it, looks like people didn't want to deal with them because they were thieves, and they were known for that. So they didn't have as many trade routes as they normally did, but they were still wealthy. And then a group of the Mandinka fled away from the kingdom during that time and created the Songhai Empire. And they came back and fought and drove the Berbers out and regained the kingdom back. So the wealth was intact. What happened to the wealth of the kingdom is they had the Berlin Conference in Europe, and they decided how they were going to split up Africa. They were going to invade and split up Africa so the Europeans wouldn't fight each other over Africa. And what happened is, like, the Mali Kingdom is split up into like five different countries, invaded it and split it up, and they have all the wealth now. They have all the resources, and they're shipping it back to Europe still to this day. So that's what happened to King Mansa Musa's wealth. Is it's in Europe. It's being shipped off to Europe still to this day. So yeah, that's just a wise tale. Um, and um, guess I'll title it, what happened to King Mansa Musa's wealth and um, and how he gained or how he was the master of group economics, or how he gained his wealth from group economics. So amongst Africans. So yeah, that would be the title of the video. Like, subscribe. You can purchase my books. You can search A Kind to Curry on Amazon. I talk everything from African migrations to religions to I break down a pile of stuff. And you have to understand, when I do my research, I have a gang of people who work with me on my research. So um, you're going to find inside information because I talk to a lot of people all over Africa from different African tribes, and they contact me and they tell me about certain things, and they want me to, research certain different things. So I know different things that probably a couple people on the, it's only a few people on the planet who know these certain things, and I can connect the dots because I've been all around and doing the research all around and seen certain things. And so if you show me something, or if you notice something, contact me. Let me take a look at it, and I can probably connect the dots with it and something else on the planet. That's normally how it occurs. So when you see my research, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing somebody who's been around, done the research around, and I can connect the dots and show you different things that you've. And sometimes it's you look at certain things and you just don't see it. And then a person who's been around and done research, they can look at it and see a whole totally different thing and point things out to you that you didn't know. So yeah, so also I have to make a video on the drinkers and break that down and talk about that as being possibly one of the oldest communication systems that exist. So yeah, purchase the books. You'll be supporting some of the future projects that we have going on, and visit the Facebook page, History and Information You Can't Find in the Educational System. Thank you.